Welcome back, everybody. We are going to jump right into our first scare zone of the second day of our Halloween Horror Nights adventure. And I really love the decorations of this one. I think it's very immersive. This facade of the barn is just fantastic. But this scare zone is called Scarecrow Cursed Soil, and it says, at an abandoned farm, scarecrows have risen from the crust of the earth to hunt you and seek revenge. They'll harvest your screams. And as I think you're about to see right here, some of these scares are pretty effective. They'll elicit some screams. Perhaps a little less effective is that ever-present chainsaw. I suppose it kind of works well in this area. Being on a farm, I don't know, maybe that's a little bit of a stretch even here. But we'll let it slide. I like this sort of second story effect of this barn, like these creatures are up there in a loft. It was a little hard to tell what they were, though. And part of the problem is that your attention is just drawn all over the place, up, down, all around. And they've got some interesting characters we're going to see here in a moment. But obviously they've got scarecrows everywhere. And then they have like living cornhead people. Not really sure what that's about. There's something about this particular zone area as well that kind of draws out the strange and wacky characters. I'll never forget the first one we went through. It was some sort of pumpkin themed as well, and you had like kids with bags on their head. Like, I don't even know. It was crazy. At least these guys have no qualms jumping out about you. Now, we did get here a little bit early this time. I know in my last video that walkthrough was a little bit dark, so I wanted to make sure we were here before sunset to get a really good view because, like I said, they have a lot of good props here, a lot of scary decorations with the mannequins that are the victims of, I guess, the Scarecrow revenge. But really, what does the Scarecrow need to be vengeful for? Anyway, let's go ahead and take another trip through. I'll hush up a little bit so that you can enjoy the ambiance. Alright, so what did you think of Cursed Soil? Let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, we're going to get ready for our next scare zone. Let's take one last look here at the facade. You will notice it's a little less scary when you go through backwards. I do think they have this intended direction that they want you to travel, which obviously is from the front of the park back. You're going to get the best effects and the best scares because the scare actors will be facing the one direction. The second scare zone we're going to be taking a look at is Conjure the Dark. Here, on the first All Hallows Eve, an evil sorceress calls forth monstrosities from dark dimensions. Now your blood will fuel them. And here you get the first glimpse of the sorceress herself. This is a very, very small scare zone. It's pretty much this stage and a couple little caves flanking it. And then they've got the scare actors roaming around. There aren't too many of them. They are her minions, of course, but primarily your attention is drawn to this pretty big stage, I guess, right in the middle of the area. Part of the problem here is that it does force everyone to congregate right there in the center, and it makes it very hard to pass through. And this is kind of a thoroughfare from one end of the park to the other. So expect crowds, expect loud music, expect these fake town folk as they try and escape the minions. Not the universal minions, of course, but our sorcerer's minions.
I call upon my exalted titans, my royal pillagers of darkness. Be faithful unto me. Let the bloodletting commence! With magic right, my hellish hounds, through the power of this blood, forever bound. The night of harvest is upon us. Let us together bask in the glory of our customs. Drink, my devoted minions, drink! I can feel it coursing through my veins. The power emanating from these tortured souls. It shall be our vitality!
All right, so that was a fun little show that we got to see. Although they do have a couple of main shows. There's the water show, and we're going to take a look at that in a future video. And then there's the main show called Halloween Nightmare Fuel Wildfire. And it's the same show, it looked like, that they had last year. Although last year we only got to see the very beginning of the show because the stage caught fire. It was the first time they said in like the Halloween Horror Nights history that they had to evacuate the audience. And we were on a RIP tour, so we got special VIP seating for the show. And then once that show was canceled, we just missed out on it completely. Didn't get to see it again. And I was very disappointed, but we made up for it this time. We did get to see the full show, although there was a bit of a scare because there's a lot of fire in this show. And they had some sort of accident where a fire baton went where it wasn't supposed to. And it almost caught the stage on fire again. I was actually kind of hoping it would, but it didn't. And we just get to enjoy this safe fire clip here. I will say the whole thing was a spectacle. Before we go, I wanted to say a special thank you to all the patrons who help support the channel. It is greatly appreciated. If anyone else wants to join our Fright Club, you can check out the link to my Patreon page in the description below. But that's going to do it for today. We do have a couple more scare zones to visit, so stay tuned for that. We also have plenty of upcoming videos on DIY projects, product reviews, store walkthroughs, and more. And of course, a whole plethora of past videos. So check them out. Till next time, thanks for watching. Take care. Happy haunting.